Hey everyone, it's me, the HerdMan, back at it again. And this is G's for Wednesday, May 26th, 2021. What's going on? How are you today on this lovely Wednesday? Well, as you can tell, my voice is a little off. I'm not as loud as I usually am. And I gotta be honest, this was a rough weekend for my vocal cords. And I've been dealing with a blown voice all week. So in case you were wondering where I've been the last couple of days, that's the reason why. So bear with me as I do my best here. But first things first, I want to have a little self-reflection here. And I gotta be honest, I'm still trying to find my niche here on the podcast. You know, am I about gaming? Am I about tech? Am I about entertainment? You know, so far all I know is that when I'm start talking about games or entertainment, man, I am going off on some long tangents if you have seen lately. However, with technology, not so much. You know, so I may need to shift gears here and then just focus more on gaming and entertainment moving forward, which is ironic because today's podcast will be about something technology-wise. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do what you love to talk about. And I love talking about games, and I love talking about movies and TV. So that's probably the direction I'm going to start going in the future here. And as I'm battling with the bad voice, it's given me some time to plan out what I want to focus on and how I can keep you all entertained. And I'm working on a regular schedule based on topics that I may try out starting next week. Now, I don't want to tell you what those are just yet, as I haven't finalized anything, so please stay tuned. We'll see what happens next week. It's probably going to make things go a lot easier because then each day you can kind of expect what the topic's going to be about. However, in the meantime, let me tell you about something I did this past week. And that was add Ethernet to another room in my house without threading cable throughout my house. Now, for most people, you know, we're so used to just, you know, the big craze about 10 years ago was obviously Wi-Fi. So homes didn't really have Ethernet ports in there. A lot of people just said, hey, I got my one area in the corner where I got my cable modem, I got my Wi-Fi router, and that's how life is going to work. And everyone thought it was going to be fantastic. Then online gaming came, and man, people needed to get themselves some bandwidth, and Wi-Fi was not doing it. And so people are actually reverted from Wi-Fi back into straight up Ethernet cables. And this has kind of been a big thing for us content creators as well. Whether you're streaming or you're trying to upload stuff, you need to have that kind of bandwidth, and Wi-Fi is just not doing that. And so, you know, as you know, I'm a family man, and you know, one of my kids recently got a computer a little while ago, and he wanted to start playing games in one of the rooms. However, the Wi-Fi just wasn't working for him. He was literally saying that the Wi-Fi was taking about 2 hours to download something that was only like 100 megabits. It was obscene. So what I did first was I ended up using what was called a powerline adapter. And so for those who aren't aware, a powerline adapter is basically a way to transfer the cable, the Ethernet cable data through your actual electricity, like through the cables in your electrical wires. And so powerline adapters came out a while ago, and what you'll do is you'll plug one adapter that's near the Ethernet port, like for your router. You'll plug it into the wall outlet. You will then plug, they have an Ethernet port on there. You would plug that into your modem, and then you go to another room in your house, plug the other adapter there, and you would then put a plug in the Ethernet adapter from there into your computer, and voila, you kind of got you now have your data transferring through your actual electrical wires from one area of the house to the other. And while this is a great idea, kind of like with Wi-Fi, the signal and the bandwidth itself can be pretty spotty. I had originally purchased some powerline adapters, and again, the download speeds were pretty horrendous. You had about 5 megabytes at best. That's when no one else was using it. But the other thing too is that these things actually trip my circuit breakers as well. And so what was happening is that, you know, as we're playing, all of a sudden the lights just straight up go out. And it took us a while to figure out what was going on that was causing our lights to go out until we realized it was the powerline adapters. And from what I've read, if you have a power line adapter, it can do tricks on your circuit boards. So if you have a power line adapter, looking to get one, you have to try to put it in the part of the house that it's not really going to be impacting. And this is just a huge problem because, you know, you don't want to have to worry about that. You want to be able to plug in anywhere you want. So there had to be another solution for this. And I was not going to be running cable from one end of the house all the way to the other. I wanted to. I really was going to try to do it, but I mean, that would involve tearing up walls. I'd have to drill holes through the sills of the framing within the house, drag the lines through, plus spend a crazy amount of money to do all this. Then I came across a new way to do this, which was called MOCA. And so what MOCA is, MOCA stands for it's MOCA, and MOCA stands for Multimedia over Coax. Now, for you old school people who may not know what, you'll know what I'm talking about in regards to coax. But for you younger folks, I mean, coax, think of it like, it's basically cable. So think of cable, whether you got DirecTV, Spectrum, it's plugged into a cable box. You know the little outlet that you plug your wire in there. That's your coax outlet. And so you can do something very similar to what they were doing with the power lines, where now you can transfer the data through the actual coax lines if you have these coax adapters. And so my current internet, the router is connected right by all the original coax cables. We moved over to YouTube TV, so I don't need any coax cables at all. I don't use any kind of cable TV, so I have all these coax outlets all over the place in the house. So what I was able to do actually was I purchased a MOCA adapter, and it's very much like a power adapter. So it's a little box that you would plug your Ethernet, or not your Ethernet, your coax cable in. You'd screw it on there, and then you would have an Ethernet port where then you plug that into your router, and then you'd go to another area of the house, and then you would plug in another adapter that would do the exact same thing. It would receive the signal. It would then output it to the Ethernet port, and you could plug it into your computer. The one thing you have to make sure of, though, is that this isn't just like where a power line adapter, you can just plug it into any wall and it can go anywhere in the house. This is specific to just that particular line of coax cable. So obviously, if you have point A, B, C, and you have another, other end of the house, A, B, and C, you can't plug in the adapter to point A expecting to go to C. So you do have to make sure that you're plugging into the correct outlets. For the most part, your house should have those labeled. Otherwise, you had a pretty crappy person that installed your cable outlets there. But I ended up doing that, so it was really easy. Once I had the connections in there, I just plugged it in for power, and sure shit, it worked. And not only that, I mean, the download speeds were insane. I mean, we were looking at about 80 to 100 now at minimum that was coming through just through the coax. I mean, now it's basically, you've now eliminated having to use the Ethernet cables, and you could use existing lines based off of this technology, and it's incredible. I was extremely happy with it. The particular product I purchased, this was called a Comtrend Powerline 1.2 gigabyte Ethernet over coax kit. Again, it just came up with two adapters. Each of them had a power line that you had to, or a power adapter that you had to plug into it alongside. But I mean, it worked. It really did work, and I was very pleasantly surprised with it. And if you're really looking to expand your home network and you don't want to have to worry about threading lines and everything like that, I would highly recommend this. Power line adapters are great if you don't have a lot of square footage in your house. If you do, you're going to have a lot of electrical wires going all over, and that could really weaken the signal, which is what happened here. However, with the coax, I mean, it was just one dedicated line that went from point A to point A. I won't say point B, but it worked. And again, it increased the download speeds from originally 5 megabytes per second up to 80 to 100 megabytes per second. Upload speeds were about 20. So now the computer we're using in the other room on the other side of the house is just as good as the one that I'm using right now to do this broadcast. So, that's kind of my tip of the day. And it's funny, like I said, I'm going to be looking to move away from more technology stuff, and I want to get more into the entertainment. I love talking about movies. I love talking about television, things like that, as well as the games. So I don't know if I'll be getting too much more into this, but I was actually pretty happy with myself. I was pretty happy with this product, and I thought I'd share that with you almost as a send-off to the topic itself. So I hope you got something out of it. I hope you learned something. Hopefully, you can take advantage of it as well if you're looking to expand on your network. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully my voice will be back the next time we talk. But go ahead and catch me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch. I'll try to be on tonight, and also look me up on TikTok and Twitter as well. Just search HerdMan22. Be sure to tell your friends about the podcast, and remember to give us a like. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them to me, TheRealHerdMan, at TheRealHerdMan at gmail.com. Have a great hump day, friends, and we will see you soon. I'm out of here.